right. So he already realized and stated there's nothing permanent except change, which is true. If we think back in time of human beings, everything was changing, from inventing the wheel to the fire to everything you could think of was a change. And change is always there. So why the heck are we still struggling with successful changes? And what means successful changes? I'll tell you one example. There was a survey and a study a couple of years ago which covered project success, and out of 1,000 projects, 2/3, 65% of the projects failed in their success due to the human factor. So it was resistance, refusing, ignoring, walking away. It was everything you could think of. People, employees, customers, whatever, which made that project fail. Even so, it was in time, on budget, everything, it still failed. Because when the wind of change blows, some do build walls and some build windmills. And that's so true. People tend to actually build walls, to make that crystal clear. Because if you're think about yourself on the couch at the evening. Well, you feel comfortable, you're sitting there, and then you become thirsty. And it's that, oh, do I need to get up, go to the fridge, open the bottle, and everything. So it kind of is taking energy to do something, to change the situation from being thirsty to having something to drink. So you try to build walls and not windmills. But we want to take you from building walls to building windmills. Thank you. So how do we make that a success? Right. So there's obviously some keys to success, very likely. And in order to do so, we'll brought you a little analogy, a little fictive use case, and we'll introduce to you. Please.
Thank you, Oliver. Yeah, so let's talk about how we make change good and how to understand what needs to be done to make happen successful. That's the point. We got a racing car. So let's say we are a Formula racing team. Which formula really doesn't matter. We're a Team Six-Pack for this little exercise, and here's our car. Of course, it's fair trade parts and things like that, and biologic. So what is needed to become and to stay a successful racing team around this car? Sure, we're simplifying some things because of we got less time here, but it will be sufficient to make the point clear enough, I think. Physically speaking, we need quite a lot of parts to build the car. From the body, the wheels, an engine, fuel tank, steering wheel, wings, things like that. I hope, I guess you got the point. Obviously, putting the parts together needs also a plan, or better, a master plan. Maybe someone who's done that before and is able to write it down and track that plan. That's the point. So what are the pieces to the puzzle? Besides the hardware parts, there quite some sensoring software is needed. Hundreds of sensors, millions of lines of codes, gigabyte of data between the car, command control, and the factory. All that are crucial pieces into this puzzle. Highly complex and sophisticated. And we certainly need experts in our team. It's probably time to say we are having two groups of experts. We would need one group right at the car, getting the car ready, changing wheels, checking fuel and fluids, repairing wings and flips and things like that. And another group is in the factory. They have planned, constructed, simulated, coded, and things like that. That's my part, okay. Yeah.
You may.
Some of those people are permanent part of either team. You would want to change the wheels on every race, for example. And some are rare experts for very specialized tasks, hired for a couple of days, weeks to elevate things to perfection. They are hard to find. And sometimes they are hired for a couple of days, weeks, or things like that. This is the important thing to the millisecond to be top of the competition. Knowing those guys is a success to get ready and can be important differentiator. So it's no you.
Now we have pieces of the puzzle. We have the hardware, we have the software, and we have guys dealing with all that. And if you've taken care or being interested in any type of a team sport, specifically any of the Formula team sport, that does not mean anything. There are dozens of cars out there and dozens of experts out there, and the differentiator is the desire those people are aiming for, the fire burning inside them to be number one, to stay number one, to be the most successful team, to go out there in what they call from the comfort zone of, well, that's nice, that's easy, that's good, into the panic zone. Oh my God, everybody else is leading ahead of us. We need to do something. Back into the learning zone and say, okay, this is a structured way. This is what I want to do. And I like to do, and I love to do, and I'm passionate about everything with that. And if we go through, that is a process. That is a journey. That starts actually even before you buy or build the first part of the car. Before you write the first line of code for the software, before you even hire anybody to go into the wind channel and simulate something, you want to understand that there is an awareness. We are out there. We are a team. We are the team looking for number one or number two, whatever it is. There is an awareness of there's something coming up on the horizon, which you want to make people aware of. And then you want to create that desire. Oh, cool, I want to be part of it. And not the, well, let's wait and see and sit back and do nothing. That's a different attitude. And it's not too uncommon that that attitude does exist, which is okay. But we need to give the people that spirit, that desire to get there. And for that race team, that can mean all kind of various things. That can be obviously not just that email from the CEO saying you are now the team going for place one. Well, that might be a little tiny step of it. But it also the continuous communication, that helping the people, that getting the right environment, that having that nice dinner Friday night before it goes to the race weekend, everything of those small things, and talking to the team, saying, are you feeling comfortable? What else do you need? What do you think that level of engagement with the team, that identification with the team? By the way, holding on for a second, there's also been a recent study which is kind of astonishing. The question was, do you have an emotional association with your company? None, medium, high. Guess how many have none or medium? 85% of employees in that survey have none or medium emotional association with their company. Only 15% of employees are really emotionally associated with their employer. That's a shocking number. And that's one of the things which can be the differentiator between success and failure. That's why desire is so crucial, is creating it early. Because if you are right in the middle of your season and you need to push and pressure and force the team to do things which they don't like, they don't want, they never accepted, they never been understood, you won't get there. Obviously, there needs to be knowledge. People need to know. And maybe you need to find those people which already know, or you train them. That's the theoretical part of the ability, which is actually the physical performance of doing something. That is the practical part. This is people actually, whatever, screwing a screw or changing a wheel or whatever it is. So you want to make that a perfection. So you first have to know, and then you have to be able. And then the other crucial part of it is the reinforcement, is getting out of that valley of grief into curiosity, ultimately to confidence, is reinforcement, is doing it willingly over and over. Biological studies on brain research, the human being needs to have at least seven iteration of doing something before a synapse starts to be created in the brain. So it's not just doing it once. It's doing at least 7 times before your brain reprograms to accepting that change. And that's why typically in a process, there's a go live. And there's a mail from the CEO, the new CRM system is live now, use it from tomorrow. Won't happen. As simple as that. Because you need to kind of have taken the people from the very beginning on the journey, get their buy-in, and then afterwards, look if that buy-in is paying out. So that is a little bit to the story we had. And really, we want to save a lot of time. And we're trying to make another picture, please. Right. As I said, there's 3 parts of it. And we typically have technology. We talked about technology. That's all the hardware, the software, the coding. Tons of that what we learned about sensors and 5G, and that's all crucial and important. I mean, we heard this morning, or at least I heard this morning in one of the pitches, artificial intelligence is being the key to success in the future. Let me pause that for a moment. Come back to that in a minute. Obviously, you need skill, knowledge, experience, capabilities, experts. You don't want to educate every single bit and piece of knowledge into your team because you just buy one. You need somebody who is, that wing is not working on my car. Why? And then there's a few experts around the world. You hire them for a week or 2, and then miraculously he finds the solution. And we will change that and that. And now we've saved another 2 or 3 milliseconds on your race car. And you could probably transform that into your personal project, your company project, whatever it is. So skill is another important thing, and finding those experts is also a very key thing. And then finally is the mindset, is that human thing out there, is the people who are dedicated, who are engaged, who are committed, whatever it is. And it sounds so easy when I'm saying it, but it's so hard to achieve in reality. Because, and I'm coming back to that artificial intelligence statement this morning, is I believe the more crucial part is natural intelligence. Is actually our people. We all, everybody, being there, going that mile, being dedicated, and understand what's there. Technology will always be there, and then I don't want to be disrespectful to all my experts, to my beloved colleague Andre, which is really dealing with a highly complex technology situation and stacks and everything. But if people don't use it, technology is worthless. So that's why it is so important. And let me add something which is not on the slide, because I've recently been covering that in various discussions with customers. You heard about Gen Z. Gen Z is Generation Z. That is those 20-ish year old joiners of the working force who graduated sooner or later and now becoming available to companies as new employees. Another question from a survey. The question was, would you rather be unhappy or quit your job? 65% of Gen Z will rather leave the employee and their job over being unhappy with the job. That's another number. 2/3 will go if you don't suit their needs. And their needs are different, completely different. I'm very sure everybody heard about 4 days a week and 30 something in
work life,
and it's actually no longer work-life balance. It's work-life separation.
Yeah.
They don't want to deal with it. They rather go home than dealing with it. And that's a whole different story. It's a whole different generation coming up to that market. And if you think about that, if those type of people, and some of that, I'm Generation Y, so make that clear. Obviously, you can see that. They are right, generally speaking. I mean, it's about sustainability, it's about fitness, it's about mental sanity, it's about values, and those values are absolutely right, no doubt. But it's not being that fancy little minority anymore outside somewhere in a corner. It's becoming the majority in about 5 to 10 years. And we all, which have been around, are in leading positions, in management position, in project management position, need to be thinking about that. It's no longer the employee, the applicant, asking for the job. It's the company now presenting themselves to the future employee and trying to do the pitch the opposite way. So think about that. That's the future of your team, of the race car team, your project team, your management team, whatever it is, think differently. That's pretty much the message. So, in concluding with that, I just want to make sure we all, I mean, there's a little marketing piece to the presentation. If you click it, it should show up. One click would be right. Six-Pack Bricks is the business unit within the Six-Pack group, which covers all the technology. And that's managing director for the Six-Pack Bricks unit. And whenever it comes to everything 365, cloud, whatever it is on the technology expert to do that successful transformation.
Yeah, it's all about the focus on modern employee, modern workplace, modern communication, and modern company. That's you.
So another click will lead us to the second part of the group, which is the six pack experts. I mean, too many letters. And that's the partner where I said earlier, which will find those hard to find people, those niche experts, those we have been looking for, but we are unable to find people. And we've been successfully delivering that for the last decade or so to large and smaller companies where we found them and made them available to them. We have quite a significant database for all those kind of very specialized skills, even to whatever PL1 programmers, which used to be around like in the 70s or so. I mean, just picking up on one example. Yeah, well, that's true. Or Lotus Notes, still there.
Yeah.
And a fading topic in the IT. And then it ultimately, and you probably already know that, which is another click, please, which is my part of the business, which is Six-Pack Drive, which is, well, drive, and I couldn't resist on picking the race car because we are driving you successfully in the future. We make that change happen, and as I said, stay.
Yeah.
So with that, we conclude like a few minutes early, but with the last statement: change is a desired crisis between two stable states. What that means today is a stable state. You are where you are. And you want to go someplace in a transformation and successfully reach another level, your target, whatever it is. And in between, there is all that change. There's all that resistance and uncertainty. You heard about VUCA this morning. That's part of the crisis. And it's good. And if you're able and understand, and that comes back to the title of the presentation, once you understand that, change is good. Because you know how to manage that change. You know how to navigate through that crisis and successfully come to your target and desired state. With that, we are open for final words from Andre.
Yeah, I want to say it's not the highest news, but transformation, transition, things like that doesn't begin with technique and IT and things like that, like in the past. Changing begins in your mind, and we say transition, transformation and things like that is an attitude. So, and if you want to make it happen, you have to be in the right attitude. And that's what we do. Oliver, for the cultural things in your company, we for the technical stuff in your company, and the experts, they are dozen here today, they find your experts for your journey. And that's what we do. So,
even so, we have roundtables. We have another 4 minutes left to take any immediate questions, notations, thinkings, opinions, if you want. Yeah.
I have a question. So, Gabriela from Ionic. So, you just talked about skills and the kind of experts who have listed along their skills they bring. This is what I understand. How do you evaluate or assess the skills they have? Because everybody can tell you, oh, I'm an expert in whatever, but how do you evaluate it?
Well, it's part of our business to know that and to elaborate and evaluate and prove. And sometimes it's a twofold. One is you have some proof. You have the people proving it. Well, certification doesn't mean anything anymore. We all know that. I mean, just having a Microsoft something certificate doesn't mean anything. Sorry for Microsoft. I don't want to be impolite to them, but that's the truth. Letter of recommendation is typically a good proof. If a company says, this guy has helped us and he has been successful, he has proven, a track record is typically what we're looking for. And not from the person written by himself, rather than from his previous projects, his previous experience. And obviously, we keep an eye on them. So we talk to customers when we deliver an expert, we keep talking to them and say, is that okay? Are you still on track? Is that guy performing? And if not, we certainly replace it. So there's a level of professionality we ensuring and guaranteeing our customer for that very reason.
Yeah, the most guys that we use, we make projects with them for over 10 years. So we know them and we know how they're working. We know how their mindset is. And when there comes someone new, we make like little things to make the skill come true. So we make a project inside, maybe. So we got a lesson, we got a goal. Let's find it out how we go there. And the most guys, more than 90% are on our side for over 10 years. Six-pack group is established in the year 2000. So we are still 22 years on the market and got huge experience about that. So, yeah.
Pleasure. Any other comments, questions? Oh, yeah, sure.
Oh, that's a secret. That's the secret.
Well, the simple answer is it depends. And it's a typical American answer. I know that. And I've been living in Texas for quite a while, so I understand that this is not a sufficient answer, even so. Not really, and just to be serious a little longer, it depends is really, there is no that specific single secret step. It really depends on where you are, which company you are, which market you are, what your employees structure is, what your corporate culture is at the moment, what your management style is on the C-level, and what the level of engagement of the people is, the workers' union. There's all so many factors down to the very personal thing. When I start with a company talking about this very specific question, how do I engage your team? I tell I love to work with like C-level. And I tell them, give me your most supportive person and your most resistant person. And create a work group of like 10 to 12 people. And we do a workshop half a day, and really kind of talk about what the problem is. So if anybody knows, it's a double diamond approach. You open the problem, you're narrowing the problem, you open the solution space, and you're narrowing the solution. It takes typically a half a day, and then you already know those people, and you understand because, yeah, I've done that almost 30 years now, and I've been systemic coach, NLP master, and all kind of those things. Theoretical knowledge, I talked about that, but there's a lot of ability, there's a lot of experience to understand why the people are how they are. And you have to tackle the situation and the person individually. And some have very intrinsic and some have very extrinsic motivations to become part. And well, we all know money is a hygiene factor. It doesn't make you happy a very long time. But sometimes it helps. Very rare reasons. And sometimes motivation, flexibility, working from home, there's so many pieces which may work. And yes, it's a bit of a magic, as you said, to pick the right pieces for the right people. And no, there is no fixed plan you could download on a 4-page white paper
Nope.
which answered that question. I'm sorry.
So,
All right, we're
Well,
running out of time.
yeah.
And so I would say thank you to everybody for being here.
yeah.
If you have any further questions, you want to get in touch with us, get engaged. We are right outside the door. 6-pack is right outside the door. Is that a nice closing?
That's a super nice closing.
Thank
Oliver.
you.
Thank you.